Hockey with an Accent is presented by Molson. Tough loss for the Canadiens. Second night in a row. Last night against San Jose. Tonight against Anaheim. We will break down the game for you. And tonight, guys, we're pretty lucky. We are lucky. Obviously, Pascal is with me, Dandy, but special guest Sergio Momesso. Sergio, hey. So happy to have you on the show. I know it's going to be unbelievable. Welcome at Hockey with an Accent, but
excuse my accent.
Italian accent today. Una grande giocatore di hockey.
Oh my God, Italiano questo qua. That's not too bad.
All right.
Same thing. You both guys sound the same.
Just before we start analyzing the game, later on, Brian Gionta is going to join us around 10 p.m. And don't forget, guys, we have our break of the week. So what is the break of the week? We're going to open up some hockey cards. Tonight, it's the 2025-2026 Upper Deck Black Diamond Box. You're right. Remy Card Trader in the chat. We will pick someone and you will win the cards tonight. You never know what you're going to get. It's always fun. Guys, what's your takeaway, Sergio, from the game tonight? It's tough defensively again.
Yeah, there's a lot of gaps in their own end. And we talked about it, us guys that they just got beat too many times where the goaltender was left alone in front of the net. The first goal is a 3-on-2. It was a nice play, but they moved the puck around. But in general, when this team's like 21 times they've come back to win games, and I mean it's tough when you always got to go back there. And normally, when it gets to the end of the year like this, these games when you give up more than 3 goals, you're going to lose. The games have to be a little bit tighter in your own end, and the effort is there, but the execution like the other night. Marty St. Louis was talking about it that. It's not always there, and unfortunately, it cost them again tonight. It's too bad.
You're right.
It certainly hurts, that's for sure. Those 2 losses. You've seen Detroit crumble down too in the standings. I mean, you lose a few games, you're almost out of the playoffs. So obviously that this one stings because the way it happened, the last goal, we didn't pick up on it again. We're having issues on the PK again, but we didn't establish the pace. We've seen a lot of nice plays, but individual plays. We didn't see some team plays, and that's what concerns me a bit. But defensively, we may have some, few guys back, but we're not picking up the lanes. We're not picking up the players going through the neutral zone, and it's hurting the Canadiens right now. A few lucky bounce on one side, and we hit a few posts tonight too.
3 posts, yeah.
Yeah, 3 posts. So it's gonna happen, but obviously it's it hurts when you lose late in the game like that.
Yeah, and I think to me, I'm with you guys. I think obviously late in the third with Lane Hudson, I find it's always kind of the same story. Not against Lane, like he's gonna make mistake and he's gonna make the team win way more game than lose some. But again, I think the structure defensively, like late in the game, you have to play the clock, right? You have to be aware of who's on the ice. You've got their best goal scorer, and then again we find 2 defensemen in the same corner. Puck focus, going for the puck instead of kind of giving yourself like an extra layer of defense, and maybe go and get that extra point that is so important right now in the standing. That's signs of a young team, but at that time of the year, like these little mistakes will make you pay. 0 for 4 on the power play. Yeah. Again, tonight, that's 0 for 7 on the weekend. I think that made the difference. And on my side, as a former goalie, I look forward at Jacob Fowler. I thought Jacob Fowler was pretty good again. He gave them a chance to win the game, especially in the third period with some big saves when the game was 3-3. So another good outing for the young guy.
But I got an issue with the last goal, Dandy. You just mentioned it, and you talked about it as well. There's two defensemen in the corner. I don't get it at this stage in the season. Why don't we just defend? Like we've been talking about the system. We had a good stretch. We're winning some hockey games, but tonight is costing us because if you play at zone defense, you're supposed to have a D in front of the net, and on that play, even if there's a mistake, somebody is there to cover back, and it doesn't happen.
No, it didn't happen, and it's like the offense goes through Lane Hudson. And I looked at yesterday in the game, he had 28 minutes. Like, they're going through everything. He's going to play as much as they can. But the issue is on that play, I think he cheated on the play because he's thinking, I'm going to go get the puck to go offensively, but you got to take care of the defense. I remember a game against Ottawa. It's a 2-2 games with maybe 7 minutes to go, and he's way rushing the net, and he falls over. Like, you need to play the clock. Doesn't matter. Win it in overtime. Get that point. But I think he's playing a lot of ice time, and he knows like he's out there a lot, and it cost him tonight because obviously Goulet was in the corner, and Goulet fell also, and then he went in, tried to sneak the puck out, and then he got caught. Like, there's some good players on the other team too, so you got to play the clock, manage the clock. But I mean, it's only his second year in, so we're gonna have some growing pains, obviously, with Lane sometimes.
He was mad at the end.
Oh, for sure. Well, right away. You know when you make a mistake.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's rare.
Yeah, they're rare, but. It's about managing the clock, managing the game, and right now it's a learning curve for him.
It's unfortunate because we all love Lane, and he knows he shouldn't have went for that puck. He should have waited a little bit and have the player come to you when you don't have the puck. And he couldn't really. They weren't going to go anywhere. They were in the corner, and you get puck focus, and like you said, you take a chance to cheat. You're on offense. You're thinking offense. It's you're thinking offense all the way down in your own end. It's not the right decision. Unfortunately, it costs Canadians 1 point, maybe 2. And like we said, if you look at their road record, their home record, it's not as good as it should be, and that's another thing that losing 2 games here Saturday and Sunday, not getting any points, and 2 games at home, and it's tough. I don't know. For some reason, they feel more comfortable on the road. But
against young teams as well.
Exactly. I mean, San Jose just trying to make it into the playoffs. Obviously, a different type of team. We saw them last night. They're quick. They're dynamic. We saw what Celebrini can do, and and tonight there was a lot of chances on both sides. I mean, you talked about the power play, Pascal, and they could have scored a couple of times, especially at the beginning when they had that 5-on-3 for a little bit. They hit a couple posts, like we mentioned. But if you got to have to win 5-4, you know how that goes. It doesn't always happen.
But I think he mentions an important point as far as being good and find some way to win at home, because the next week is going to be very important. I think next 5 of the 6 games are at the Bell Center against your conference, except Nashville. So you need to find points that get going there and take advantage of it, because then now, like, it's so tight in the Eastern Conference. Like, Ottawa won again today.
Yep.
They played pretty well, and they're playing well, and Columbus is playing pretty well. We mentioned it on Wednesday. Like, these guys keep winning, and they're winning those tight games with, like, very tight defensively. And if we don't want to get burned down the road, you gotta clean up your own zone, like, pretty quickly.
But then, do you feel like they have a tough time playing against fast teams? All year here we've been talking about toughness and playing against heavy teams like Boston, Washington. But I feel like the toughest game for the Habs are against fast teams like San Jose, like Anaheim tonight. Like, you have a clip in neutral zone. We have a picture. If Simon can put it, there's 3 stages. You can go up. We'll try to show it in neutral zone. And then that's the first frame. There's 3 frames, and if you can just explain a little bit. Right now we're in a good position, right?
Yeah, well, here you got, like, they're in a good position, obviously, and you want the 5 guys back. Like, it's okay. You're kind of playing the trap. But basically what you want to do, you want to slow down the opposition, and you want to stand up at the blue line. But what happens here is on the next frame, this one player only, this one pass, he beats all 3 players in the neutral zone. So what happens then? Then it becomes a clear-cut 3-on-2. So all these 3 guys were behind, and next thing you know, now they're in front of all the forwards. So they're not really doing anything in the neutral zone. So you're thinking, okay, I'm in the right position, but what's your purpose? Your purpose is to slow down these players. And next thing you know, now there's a mix-up and a tic-tac-toe and an easy goal for Anaheim. But you need to slow these guys down. That's why you're in the neutral zone.
Yeah.
That's why you're staying back. And Montreal's not doing it. So you're thinking, okay, I'm just standing here, but what's your purpose? Is to slow down the opposition. And it didn't happen on that play. And it was a costly goal.
What I don't like, it goes from a 5-on-5 to a 3-against-2 and then to a 2-against-1. Like it got worse every level on the ice, right?
Full
Like,
speed.
Then with a
speed.
tap in, but everything looks like everybody's a puck focus.
Exactly.
Like you said, and that's like you said, like one pass is not supposed to be 3 guys.
Nope.
You got to be aware, especially like early. You know, like these guys like to stretch the zone, and you have to be aware of it. And two, you have to be ready to play. Like I didn't mind their start, but you have to be aware too that Anaheim lost 2-0 like yesterday in Ottawa. They were going to have a good period, and they were going to skate and. Just the Viel hit, like on Kirby Dach.
Again,
I think
Dach,
give them some momentum, give them some energy, and then you have to be ready for that because a lot of teams, not only in the Eastern Conference but in the West, they're playing for their lives right now. So there's no easy game.
But Sergio, like you look at the way they defend tonight, can you really say it's because they're young? Because I'm reading on the chat, people are saying growing pains, and you got to go through it as a young group. But for me, it's more a structure problem than immaturity, right?
Well, I mean, listen, every year it's been about 4 or 5 years. We're getting better. We got our new kids coming and developing, which is our forwards. I think a lot of the skill and the talent. Lane Hudson, yes, I get it on the back end. But, Matheson's not a kid anymore. Gooley's not a kid anymore. Carrier's not a young guy. I mean, these are defensemen that are supposed to help the defense. And I even said it to you guys a little bit. Maybe I was hoping the Canadiens maybe grab another defenseman if they could, a solid guy that's played a long time, a steady guy, because we're still going, Jack Guy's in the lineup or he's not in the lineup, and then, Struvel's in and out. So they're okay. I get it. The 5th and 6th, the 6th defenseman comes in and out. And I felt that we needed another, it's like a steady guy back there. So,
because Gooley hasn't found his game since the injury.
Yeah,
I'm worried, guys.
I'm very worried.
Yeah, he did have a tough night too. He got beat on a couple plays where he one-on-one. He got beat.
Well, you know what, guys? We don't have a David Savard this year compared to last year. That kind of, you're talking about that steady defenseman, big guy that's gonna box out, block some shots, played a big last minute in the third period, either for a tie or like protect a lead. Like that's these are plays, and we talked about the system too. It was interesting on Wednesday with Kevin Bieksa thinking about like is the man on man, do we have the right personnel to do it? And I think on the last play, and I don't want to blame Lane Hudson, like it's not the point, it's just like the personnel with smaller guys against a team like Anaheim, like Cutter Gauthier is a huge guy. That first line is like takes lots of space. Like they protect the puck well. Like when you go in for pucks all the time, like you're gonna get beat. It's just not because you're not good. You know then you play the position. It's just like a matter like the guy's bigger than you. Yeah. Like it's hard to contain.
Yeah, no, and David Savard is a Stanley Cup champion, a big presence, and he knows what his job is, and it's to shut down. And right now we're thinking a bit more offense and. Shout out to David Savard because he's my pickleball player.
Oh, there you go.
He's a good player too.
He plays offensively or defensively?
No, he's a good.
He's blocking everything.
He's
blocking everything.
Nothing gets by him by the net.
Well, we got Dobson as well. Going back to D, who's not the youngest guy, not the oldest guy, but he's not the quickest guy, but he's given the team some offense. I to be honest, I haven't looked at his past years to how he is defensively, but we know he can. He's added to the D. But listen, I say it every year, and you guys know it. There's the first half of the season, and then there's this part of the season, which is like playoff hockey. And this is these are mistakes that are the difference. They're the difference whether you go past the first round. If you get there, they learned a bit last year. I figure you play against Washington, which was a top team, played hard. They're heavy. We noticed we needed a Josh Anderson in that type of series, and they went to get some bigger bodies tonight. I guess against Anaheim, they figured we'll put Jack Guy back in the lineup. We'll get Gallagher back in there, a little bit of grit and grind. Gallagher helped on the first goal on the force check. First or second goal, I'm not sure. But, like that type of play you need. But again, offensively, you could see that they do it. But defensively is, again, giving up, 4 goals is too much in these type of games.
Gallagher was out last night. Bolduc is out tonight. At what point is it important not to disturb the group, though, like of taking someone out of the lineup every night? I get the message that you got to play one way or you're going to be out, but then when does it affect the group that you don't want to be feeling like nervous about it?
Well, it affects. Usually, it's maybe 4 or 5 guys at the bottom that there's somewhat of a rotation. But I think when it gets bad, it was a situation where Gallagher was kind of struggling too, and then the other guys were playing well. Like Texier scores a goal, and then they were talking about like who are we taking out, Texier or Bolduc? Like you just scored a goal, so you got to be rewarded for a good play. And right now, I mean, they were nervous to press that button, like, when do we eject Gallagher? And they finally did. I think the issue was that he said right away, Martin St. Louis said, you know what, he's going to play next game. But what happened if the team would have won like 4-0 and everybody would have played well? Like, you automatically take somebody out? That's the issue in the dressing room that could happen, is that, like, I've been playing well and I'm always getting kicked out of the lineup. So I think that's where the line is drawn. But now the fact that Gallagher, who was struggling a bit, who's an older guy, because on back-to-back games, Gallagher on the second game plays at least 3 minutes less, and he's less effective. So that was the issue going on there, and that's what you don't want in the dressing room. It's just like, you deserve to play, but then, sometimes it's just politics.
Oh, you're right. And now we'll see with Doc, like if he's feeling okay next game. There's Gallagher who feels tired on back-to-backs. When is it time to give a chance to Laine? Like, I'm asking a question because I know it didn't work since he's in Montreal, but
at that time of the year, he hasn't played all year in the important game. You see, like, you're arguably one of your best players just makes a small mistake and it costs you the game. Like, imagine a Laine on can you play him 5-on-5 in tight games?
I don't know.
I really doubt it, Max.
Do we need?
I'm not saying I would.
No. Yeah, but to me, I don't think that's an option.
Do we need offense or we need defense? Like right now, the Canadiens scored 3-4 goals. Like, they're one of the better teams offensively
100%.
in the league, right? So what do we need? Do we need a defensive specialist, Laine? Is that what he is?
No, but it's okay to defend the way he defends, though, in this system.
I mean, that's the issue here. It's like, even those guys, like we saw that play earlier on the board, is like, just be aware of what the job is, at least in the neutral zone. And I think that's where Montreal struggles, is defensively.
I think now what happens is the mistakes that they make, they're big mistakes.
Yeah.
And even before, Fowler made about 4 saves in the third period. He had to make some really glove saves. Okay, good glove saves. A couple were on the power play that they had. I think they only had one, Anaheim. But, the last couple of rushes, they got caught. It was 3-3. I don't know why they're getting caught. They got beat wide. He had to come up with some really big saves. And unfortunately, he couldn't get the last one, because I thought he was okay. He made the saves that he had to make. The third goal was a deflection, so there's nothing he could do there. Obviously, the first goal, there's nothing he can do there. And so I feel for the kid. So now you got the 2 young goalies, going back and forth. But they need some help.
Yeah,
they need some
and
help.
that's a good point you bring, because they gave up 4
I like
great
goalies, I had roommates as goalies, and so
great guys.
We connect.
Great guys.
I'm a bit screwed
I
up
thought they
that
should
way.
be left by themselves. The goalies.
No. We have a lot to offer,
You guys
buddy.
are weird.
They're weird, but we need them. We need them.
Yeah, you can't play without a goalie. But that's a good point, Sergio, because when you look at it, you're in good control, and then you give up 4 grade A scoring chances in the last 5 minutes.
True.
I mean, you're playing with fire when you do that, and it's gonna get cut up to you. So yeah, we have to clean up. I have a question. How much does, like, I'm not talking about Marty St. Louis, but like as the D coach, like how much does it come to like a D coach repeating on the bench, make sure like you you play it safe, get out. Like, how much feedback do you get usually during those periods? How important is it? Especially with young defensemen.
I think usually it's on the off days where you'll do some videos and watch your game and just, talk about more like with a calm mind. And on the bench, I'm sure he mentioned, play safe, but sometimes, it's Lane Hudson's instinct, and you can't teach that because he's amazing. So he had the instinct of, you know what, I'm going to sneak in. It's going to cost you. Like, I remember switching from forward to defense. I mean, my first few games, I kept jumping in the play every single time. All I heard is Scotty Bowman, no, get back. I didn't know. Like, you're trying to get your bearings about
the left wing lock.
The left wing lock that we did.
That.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Because of New Jersey's trap, then we played the left wing lock.
Talking about New Jersey, let's join Brian Gionta.
Oh!
He won a cup playing the right way defensively.
That's true.
Can't wait to hear.
Yeah.
Gio, what's going on, my friend?
What's up? How are you guys?
Wow, I was texting you during the game. You were born for podcasting. You're just ready. We're so happy to have you on tonight, Gio. It's been a while. I think the last time we've seen each other, I was driving you to the ring for a big game at the Bell Center. But how have you been, man?
I'm good, bud. Family's well. I miss those days in Brossard, carpooling with my neighbor. It was always fun going to the rink.
It was unreal.
Did he ask you for gas money when he gave you a ride?
He was fairly new. Like, it wasn't his rookie year.
Hey, can you believe? Can you believe it? The guy is the captain, makes $5 million plus a year, but the fourth liner is driving him, so he saves gas money.
It's just being smart. And that's funny because Max tells me when he got to St. Louis, Marty Brodeur called him for giving for rides, and then, so you had a little side business going on.
I'm just driving legends. That's what
there
I do.
you go.
Gio, what's your takeaway from tonight's game?
Obviously, I think it's a tale of the team as a whole, right? Like, super offensive. They're always a threat to score, but until they kind of tighten up their D zone, it's going to be tough to win consistently, or on the nights that you need to. It's a fun team to watch. I think one of the things I would love a little more of is a little more size, a little more physicality out of a few players. Like, they got a ton of skill. I think some net front presence in the D zone would really help kind of box guys out, not let guys get there. I think they get exposed a little bit there. But, I think it's super fun team to watch. Obviously, the power play in the first period, it was one heck of a power play in the first period. Yep. They were all over it. And then in a big moment, 8-9 minutes left in the game, when you really need to come up big, I thought it was pretty stale at that moment. So those are the things throughout the season, 82 games, those are the things that matter for points here and there. They get you in the playoffs or get you higher seeds.
How was it in New Jersey? Like, you guys had a lot of skilled players, but when do you decide to commit defensively? Because I feel like it's tough. Like, it was easy for me because that was my only option. But when you have to do both, right? You got to score goals, you got to be productive, but at the same time, you got to defend. Like, where's the line?
I'm not sure. I came into a veteran team. When I came in 01, they'd already won a couple cups. They had already, 8-9 Hall of Famers at the time. So I was coming into a well-established team, and you just kind of fit into what they were doing. So I don't know the power struggle beforehand, but it was just the devil way, right? Like, you either bought into how they were playing, or you weren't going to be in the lineup, or you weren't going to be a part of the organization. And it's one of those things that if you didn't buy in early, they didn't see progress from you. Lou certainly wasn't afraid to ship you off if he didn't see some positive coming out of you. So I think it was just a culture thing that was ingrained already before me when I got there.
How much, you were a captain with Montreal, obviously, and then in Buffalo. How much does the captain has a say, or not a say into the system, but just to reinforcing those very important way to play your identity, like defense first, especially at that time of the year? I don't know what kind of leader you were. Obviously, you worked really hard on the ice, and you seem to be leading by example. But
wasn't it an audition that one year in Montreal, right? You guys didn't have a captain for a year, right?
Yeah, my first year in Montreal, we didn't have a captain, which I think if you look back at that, There was a ton of guys that came in that year. There's a lot of overhaul of the team. And so I think Jacques Martin did a good job of just letting us find our way that whole first year and seeing how things developed. And going to your question, it's not just on the captain, right? It's not on one guy. It's on a leadership group. One guy is going to get outnumbered in a room. I think when you have a good leadership group that's going to play the right way, or they do things day in and day out the right way, you're able to bring guys along with you. If you're outnumbered, it's really hard to get some momentum for a team. And I dealt with that. We had a great supporting cast in Montreal when I was there, a great leadership group. We were all kind of pulling the same direction. And then in Buffalo was the complete opposite. Our leadership group was outnumbered, and we just could never get the full group on board playing the right way. So it is on the captain, but you guys know, you've been in that room. Yeah. You've been in that room for a lot of games. Yeah. It's a whole group effort that needs to get it done, not just 1, 2, 3, 4 guys.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Honestly, I have to say, I just want to know here tonight on this podcast, did Max Lapierre vote for you?
They
drove him everywhere. Did you vote for him?
They told me we were allowed to vote for ourselves. So
was one vote for you?
I got one vote.
Open the envelope.
Surprise! Of course, I voted for him. Great leader.
Good answer.
But if you have a good and deep dressing room like Brian just talked about, I remember in Detroit you have Yzerman, which is probably the best leader I've ever been around, but he was a quiet guy. And then you had the rah-rah guys sometimes talking between every period and stuff. But when the dressing room is good, it's solid, it doesn't matter who came in. I remember there was a year we bring in Brett Hall, and it was like, oh no, Brett Hall, we heard the stories. You played with him in St. Louis, right?
I wasn't there.
Yeah. So, but it was just a situation.
Special, yes.
Bring him in because the dressing room was too big and too strong, and the culture like you guys had in New Jersey, same in Detroit, and it calmed everything down, and you could talk and you had a good time, but the dressing room was big enough to handle a guy like that, and he was awesome. He was great with us.
100%. I mean, you need all types of players in there, all types of personalities. I was a quieter guy. If things needed to be said at times, I would, but I wasn't a huge rah-rah guy, but Max was, and Hell Gill was, and Spacek was, and Gomez was a personality. You're like all these guys, like that individually, yeah, everyone has their quirks, but together as a group is how it comes together. And I think Sullivan said it. I think it was Sullivan after the Olympics, or you need the whole milk drinkers and whiskey drinkers. You need a little of everything, right? You need guys that are whiskey drinkers are going to be hard nosed. You need guys that are going to be pulling the right way every day, all day. Like, you just need a good mix in there, and you can't have one of everything because it just gets too stale.
How important is a loud bench during those like quiet moments or those important games? I don't know because I was on the ice all the time, and like
all the time.
But you know what? That was when I played. Okay. No. But
did you hear how the panel reacted to this one? I was on the ice all the time. Boo!
You know what, guys? I'll give you this one. This one time.
Okay.
Tough crowd tonight. Jesus.
Are you drinking whiskey over there?
No.
What is that?
As a goalie, I was in the milk drinker team. But like it's so important, I think, to have a loud bench, and why is that to have a loud bench in those like late games and like just saying defense first, a type like that? I'm sure it was like that in New Jersey as well when you guys had so much
sure.
success.
I mean, yeah, we had Scott Stevens, super quiet. But you had the in Ken Danneco. You had a Scott Niedermayer, super quiet. But Colin White was loud. It's for me, it's in those moments. Games get stale. 82-game season. We all know what it's like. There's ups and downs throughout the game. There's up and downs throughout the season. You need guys that can bring energy when maybe something's not going your way, right? Like it's not a rah-rah just to be a rah-rah. It's trying to manufacture energy when you're slipping momentum. It's trying to find little wins, a block shot here, and that builds energy to the bench. That builds energy to the guys on the ice. Fowler, late in the game, a big save, like, that keeps you in it. Like, those are the moments that if you have a quiet group or it's all like super quiet guys on the bench, then it just stays dead. Like those are the moments that those personalities come out, and that's what builds up your bench. That's what gives you momentum to, carry on the next 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah, well, you guys obviously had that type of group, and so did you in Detroit, and everyone has these. When you get fortunate enough to be on these teams, I got lucky just in my experience starting in Montreal. Bob Gainey was the captain.
It's funny, we never talk about Columbus in those kinds of conversations.
I didn't want to say anything, but again, we're picking on Pascal again. But Larry Robinson was the assistant captain, and he was the more outgoing type of guy. He just was I would say the rah guy, but he was a lot more engaged with all the players, and he used to just love, tell me stories, Mo. Whatever. He just wanted to be part of the guys, but he was obviously a great respected leader, and Bob was very quiet and wouldn't say much until we played bad, and then he needed to say something, and he did, and then we kind of woke up. We didn't need the coach to tell us. We just listened when Bob got pissed off, and Bob, obviously he was the guy that got you all over here. So we're very well respected man. So but we had the other side with Chris Nyland and Chris Chelios and just the whole crew that we had, Ludwig, so those were the whiskey guys. Yeah. And good players too. And combine those all together, and then we got Patrick Waugh and Nets, which was pretty wild at the beginning. But it was, you go by. I would play for the guys. I mean, those I want to play well, just stay in the league, but also because I wanted to show the veteran players that I cared to win, and definitely had a winning concept culture right away, and it was different when you ended up going to St. Louis. It was a lot. We don't have enough time to talk about St. Louis. a lot of stuff going on there, but a team that needed to grow and start to win. It took a while, but as you guys know, it's way different today's NHL in a sense that, like, I went in, I was the only young guy, and I was 23 at the time. And so there's a lot more young guys around. There's less of those older grizzled guys in that room to set it. So it makes it even harder and harder to make sure you institute that kind of culture early on in your team. And I think the young kids have a ton of skill. Like, it's a great game to watch. But I think some of those pieces are missing at times with some of these young teams. And to the point earlier about you guys had Waugh and that, like, we had Brodeur. Like, you guys have seen the difference in the Habs just this year. At the beginning, goaltending was hot. It keeps you in games. And then it cools off, and that's when you start getting inconsistent. And then all of a sudden you find your footing again when someone comes back and he's playing well. Like, so there's a lot of pieces to winning, and it's hard to break it down, and it's an imperfect science to build a team for sure.
You're so right. And we've been talking about leadership, but I want to hear about the role of a captain in Montreal. Like, how different is it? Like, the pressure is on, and you look at a young guy like Suzuki, he's got the pressure on for sure. And you also mentioned the game has changed. So what do you think is the perfect temperament for a captain in Montreal? You were the calm one,
Yeah, I think you need to have a sense of calm. I think at times it gets very noisy, very chaotic. There's a lot of outside noise coming into the room, and you have to make sure you protect that room. And a lot of it is just eating it, right? Like, you get in there after a bad game and you got to eat it for the team. You're always, kind of stepping in there and making sure that you're answering the hard questions. And I think that's one of the trickier parts, is making sure that you protect the team, the locker room, with all the outside noise that can come in throughout the course of a season. But for me, I was fortunate. I was 30 years old when I came into Montreal, coming from New Jersey. Suzuki, I know I talked to him, a year or so after he was named captain. So it was a few years ago now, but it's tough on a young guy to adjust to the city, to adjust to the fan base, to adjust to the pressure of being in Montreal. on top of having to do that daily grind that a captain does.
Especially nowadays, you could see that the captain is given to younger guys or the franchise guys, coming up that are getting the money early because they want to, sign them long term right away. They don't want to lose them later. It's totally different. So it is hard. You're right, and on that sense for them, it's a totally different NHL. And like you say, I think the Montreal way that they were going is like, let's get all these draft picks, let's make the changes, and let's all grow together. And all these young kids are learning together, losing and how to win, and they gotta figure it out defensively. Just you got to win 3-2 games. They can't always win 4-3.
Sergio, do you need to figure it out, or you just need to accept to defend? Because to me, those are two different things. I feel like tonight it's a decision not to defend.
No, I hear what you're saying. It's a little too loose back there. There's no question, and it's, they're obviously gonna look back. Hopefully that they can get back on the winning track. Talk about a bunch of games coming up here at home. That they won't look back and say that weekend, man. We kind of let it go a little bit. Those points, they gotta commit. They gotta commit to playing defense. Playing defense is hard. I mean, you gotta work at it. You gotta do stops and starts. You gotta block shots. You gotta do all those little things. That's not that pretty to watch, but you gotta win those games.
But if you play defense, weirdly enough, you'll get more offensive opportunities. You'll create those turnovers and everything. And I think these guys, sometimes they're thinking always just offense, and that's the issue. And it's a 5-man thing when you're playing D. It's not just the two defensemen, because we saw, they were going through everybody, and then even on the one-on-one plays, it's apparent that it's pretty tough for the Canadiens. But it's a mindset. You're absolutely right. It's a mindset to commit to defense, and that's when you're gonna win and you're going to become a successful team, because all the teams that win the Stanley Cup, well, they all commit to defense first, and that will create your offensive opportunities.
Brian, have you ever played man on man in your D zone, especially probably not in New Jersey, but how was it if you did?
No, we never did, and I was never a huge fan of it. It was it's tough. I'm used to layers, right? And so that the game-winning goal, Hudson goes flying in there, and he gets beat, but there's no layers behind him. And so for me, our systems that I've always played in had those built-in layers as defense. So if something broke down, there was another barrier you had to get through. Man-on-man is tough. It's really tough. It's sometimes it can be smothering to play against, but for the most part, it leaves a lot of chance out there in your D zone.
Yeah, Hitchcock was the same way too. Like you had Hitch in St. Louis and Columbus. Had the nine shutout one year, not because I was the best goalie in the league.
There was 10 layers.
Yeah, but there was some nights there were like 15 layers, and then we heard about it for 8 hours before the game, but it worked. We didn't have a great team, but it worked, and we found ways to win 2-1 games.
But you know what the biggest issue is? It's not even defense. We talk about it, Sergio, like during the second period. Like it's offensively as well. You're trying to break out. You don't even know where your guys are at, right? Like you create a turnover and then you look up. Nobody is in position. So just the transition game is affected by it.
True.
I don't know. I never played forward, Max. You tell me.
Well, like defense is just as much, in the neutral zone, in the offensive zone. Like a lot of it is D zone, and you got to commit in your D zone, but it's being above the puck. It's tracking. It's when you don't have it, are you able to get in support of your teammates to get the puck? Are you giving them an out? So defense is not just strictly the final goal, the end goal that was scored tonight by Anaheim. It's other factors throughout the game that people don't really notice.
We've been talking about toughness a lot in Montreal, whatever it's on defense or the way we're playing, because of the series against Washington last year. But what happens if you don't have it? Like, how can you react differently? We have small players. You look at Caulfield, Hudson. Like, you've been there, Gio, in an era where it was tough. Like, guys were big. You think about guys like Hal Gill, like, and you compare it to yourself. Like, you fought them. Like, you were all over them. You were working hard. So we've been talking about it, but we don't have it. So what's the solution? What's option B in that case?
It's a mix. I think it goes back to how you build out your team, and it has to be a mix. Being a small, undersized guy, listen, I want every small, undersized guy to have success in the NHL, but you can't have 5, 6, 7 of them on a team. It's just how it is. Chara probably feels the same way. You can't have 6 guys his size. You have to have a mix within your lineup. And listen, it's being big, but it's playing the game tough. There's different things associated with that. And size is a huge component, especially come playoff time. And you saw it for years in Washington. They never really wanted to commit to defense. They didn't have a big bruising team. And we had probably that year would have been 2010-ish, that we knocked them off. We certainly didn't have the better lineup, but we played better as a team. We played better as a group. We defended better. And then we were able to take their skill away in a long series like the playoffs. I think that's where it really shows come playoff time. And people put a lot of, talk about that, but it's because you're playing the same team 7 possible times that's where the mix of your lineup really comes into play, as opposed to just one off tonight against Anaheim and then you're playing Toronto in 2 nights or something. So it really becomes apparent come playoff time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the wear and tear is real, right? Like it's just like when you just pound their D's all the time, and then like it's just physical, and then it's you see it, you still see it. I mean, like it's good that you mentioned Washington. They took a long time to figure it out, but you look at the last champions, like Florida was just pounding everybody. Vegas, when they won, was the same thing. Their identity was just forecheck and just pound the shit of everybody. And it ends up working. Those teams won a lot of games and like a lot of series in Game 7s just because they just like took the will out of other teams. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you're right. And Gio, what do you think is the effect in the dressing room? Like we've talked about it a little bit, but when you take a guy like Gallagher out of the lineup, he's been there, man, for what 50 years now. He's been wearing the jersey, bleeding every night. Like I feel like there's a serious message sent by the coach there.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know the full backstory with it to speak intimately on that. But when you take a heart and soul guy like that out that's giving everything, and whether he's having the best statistical year or not, a guy like that brings something to your lineup, right? And I have a huge soft spot for Gallagher. He came in as a rookie. I really identified with him, my young self. And, I remember his rookie year, he was going to the net, he's sticking his face in there. And I said, I was 10 years into my career at that point or whatever it was. And I'm like, Gally, I go, it's fun right now. You can eat it right now. But when you're 30, 32, 33, your body's really going to pay for it later on. And you can see it, but he's adapted his game to bring something to the team, whether he's scoring 25 or he's scoring 10 goals a year. I think he still brings an added element to your lineup for sure.
Isn't it unreal? He's still doing it. Like this guy still competes like he's 20 years old. It's good that you mentioned he adapted his game, because for a while, like he was not keeping up with the speed, but he adjusted a little bit, lost weight, like tried to play a different game. Like he's impressive, and that's one point I want to hear from you. Like, how tough is it as a player to adjust to different era? Like I feel like you start your career, you guys played, it was tough, and then it was quicker, and then it was more skills. Like, how tough is it? Like, what are the major changes you need to do in the summer training and all this?
You're always evolving, right? I think in order to stay in the league, you have to be evolving. And I came in, like I said, to New Jersey, super veteran team, Hall of Famers. I was a elite scorer in college, and I had to come in and play a checking role, play with a Madden and Pandolfo. We were third line, shut down, not expected to score. You're killing penalties. You're not on the power play. And that was my way into the league. And then a few years in, now all of a sudden you start to feel and start to gain, your role on the team. And that transitions to now you're first power play. You're the top line guy. You're the guy expected going over and scoring goals or getting points night in and night out. And then it comes full circle, right? Like if you're able to play that long and you keep evolving, it came back around in Buffalo and Boston. My last year, I was more complimentary, like a role guy, a veteran guy, a voice in the room, a steady influence on the ice. not expected to go out there and score every night. So I think as a player, you just have to be constantly evolving, and the game is always changing. So you just have to keep up with, okay, is it big? Is it physical? Is it turning into more skill, more speed? Whatever it is, you just got to keep adjusting throughout your career.
Well, whatever it is, I mean, being part of some Stanley Cup teams, it's your top players. They have to play the right way, and that trickles down. That's the influence you want to see. Because I remember I guess it was in the 90s, the Rangers had the highest salary team in the league, and I don't think they made the playoff one year because guys were cheating. The top guys were cheating, and next thing you know, your young guys, well, if he's cheating, I might be cheating. So if the right leaders are playing the right way, it just brings everybody in, no matter how old you are or how your role has changed. Yeah. And that's what we like to see about Gallagher, because there's a guy like that. He still plays hard every night, and that's a good influence for all the young players.
100%.
I think it's important what you just said, especially for young players. It's just like it makes your career last longer because you're exposed to a more defensive role and you learn like the small details of the game, and then after that you have your hot years that you can like score and produce points, but then it just makes your career longer when instead of being out in the league, you're comfortable to kind of falling back into a third or fourth line role and be still really useful for a team, especially at that time of the year, like just not only by experience, just by playing the right way when it matters the most. I think so. Like it's
makes your career longer.
Yeah, so you end up making more money.
That's like
Corey Perry's done 10 years of that. Like 10 years of one-year deals and winning more cups. And,
he's going toe-to-toe with Jagger. Okay.
That's what Mark Bergevin said later in his career. He says, I was such a great guy in the dressing room. That's why they kept me.
That's unreal. J.O., man, I want to say thank you so much. Like, I know you're busy. You got the family, but you said yes right away to come and talk a little bit about the game. You know what? You're pretty good at this. Yeah. I think you should maybe say I want to do it a little often.
Maybe guest host once in a while.
Yeah. What about once a month? We'll sign you. We'll send you an email. Thanks, Gio. We'll say hi to the family,
course,
man.
Guys. Nice to see you guys.
Much appreciated. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Gio. The king of Rochester.
Yeah, he is the king of Rochester. Sergio, I want to hear about Jack Eye. You know, we were watching the game tonight. At one point, we were like, wow, he's on fire. He's shooting the puck. He's got a great wrist shot. And then we went, you need to move the puck quicker and too many turnovers.
Well, I mean, it's like you know your role in one sense. And he knows he has to play tough and he has to defend his teammates. But, you know, you always want to practice your skating, your skills, get better, or whatever it is to stay in the lineup. And I know it's tough because he's in and out. Plays maybe tonight they play against Anaheim, so some tough guys. And you saw at the beginning he wanted to get into it, right? I want to get into the game. I got to get into a scrap. But he didn't take a penalty. That's the main thing. Is like if you want to do too much in that role, that you're going to put your team behind the eight ball. You know, I just find I love the guy because he's such a team guy, you know, and if, you know, when he comes out behind the net or whatever, he'll beat, let's say you beat one guy, and I'm not I was never a defenseman, but I remember playing with some pretty solid defense, and, you know, Rick Green or whatever, he says, I just get the puck, I know my role, I move it. I move it to the next guy, a guy who's 5 feet in front of me, he's open, I'm giving it to him, and he would joke about it, say the least time it's on my stick, the better it is for me and for my team. Yes, when the opportunity's there, you got to skate it out, you got to move. But when, you know, guys got to know their limits, and you know, when someone's open, you give it, and you just try to keep it as simple as possible, and improve as much as you can. You know, going forward in practices and stuff like that. But there's always guys that are on the edge, you know, like when they're the 6D or the you know, the 13th forward. At any little mistake, you're out, and it is tough. It's tough.
It's so tough to have that pressure. I remember having a conversation with Dave Lewis, who was the assistant coach to Scotty Bowman in Detroit, and when I moved back to defense, he says, Dandy, figure your game is in a box. Right now, you're playing outside the box. You're trying to do too many things. Just keep it simple. Just stay in that box, and you'll be fine. And it's just sometimes it's a reference. But for him, like, he's got to think that, I might have to fight tonight. I'm trying to stay in the lineup. What am I doing wrong? And every little mistake, it's right away you feel like he makes one mistake in the first period, then he's like, oh, am I done for the next game and stuff. It's hard. It's hard on a player.
Yeah, those guys, they know when they make a mistake, it's or a player that's regular, you can take that chance at the blue line because I'm going to be playing the next shift. Or I'm going to be if you do it 6 times in a row, you're going to get benched. But in general, you have the freedom to take chances and to try to make plays, but you got to know who you are and what you are in the league.
You need to accept it.
And then and play that role. And you play the role. If you're going in there, you got to win faceoffs. And that's if you start losing a ton of faceoffs, well, you're not going to take them anymore.
But the pros from his game, he has a pretty good gap, and he kind of hits the net most of the time.
He's got a good shot.
He has a decent shot.
Lanes.
Yes, and right now, and I think it was one time control breakout, starts skating out, and then he kind of fumbles it, and then it went to the other, and then it went to the other team, and then they're spending another 30 seconds in the zone.
Well, he gets in trouble when he stops moving his feet. Kind of like it becomes like almost there's a glitch in the PlayStation remote, like for like half a second, but. In today's NHL is too much. Did you guys like the respawn on the Viel hit on Dak? Was it enough? Like we saw Anderson and like
they all tried.
Anderson was asking people to fight.
But you guys were in that situation.
For me, I have an issue with the team toughness. Like it's not about fighting and scrums after the whistle. Like it's about hitting every single time. It doesn't have anything to do with the Montreal Canadiens. When I watch an NHL hockey game, I still don't get a guy turning on a hit. Like, why don't you just finish your hit to separate the guy from the puck? Like, it has nothing to do with hurting. Like, I don't get it. Like, stop turning, finish your hits. Like, it doesn't need to be spectacular. Just give a little bump. Like, do something. Because at the end of the game, the other team is going to be tired, and it's going to be time to cash in.
Do you find we do it like Montreal does it early enough in the game? Like last week in Ottawa, like Cousin, nobody likes him in the league, obviously. But he goes in on the forecheck and bothers the team. Tonight that was Viel. Do you think? And it kind of gives energy to your team, right? It kind of gives you purpose. It gets you into the game. Do you find Montreal does it enough?
No.
On the other teams?
No, but I remember we had a team in Detroit. We had a few tough guys, but there was a few years like we didn't. We had Darren McCarty, which could go against anybody, but he was a middleweight. He wasn't like a full.
He could play as well.
Yeah, he could play. He could play, but at the same time, like our power play did the talking and did the hitting type of thing. So you put us in the box, like you take a cheap shot or something, we'll make you pay on the power play. And it was a bit of a team toughness because we still had guys going out there but finishing the hit like a Malpe or Draper, those guys. But we didn't have the biggest, toughest team in the league. But we beat you skill-wise, but at the same time we were playing smart, and the power plays did the thing for us. As for Montreal, like you mentioned earlier in the show, they've been struggling on the power play. They've had some good chances, but it hasn't gone in.
Yeah.
No, you're so right. One guy played really well tonight, though, Caulfield. Flying on the ice, scored again tonight. We're on the 50-goal watch, that's for sure, until the end of the season. It's in his head right now. It's probably the first time in his career that he's like, it's coming, but too bad I have an 8-year contract. But he was flying tonight, and I feel like every time the game is on the line, he raises his game to another level. He was so fast out there, Sergio.
Well, you see, when he gets the puck, he did the other night against San Jose. You give him some space, he's going upstairs. It's the quickness. And then tonight, even on that half breakaway, he's kind of getting caught a little bit. He knows he's got to release it quick, but he shoots in stride. And he's one of those guys, he's always got his hands going, and he's skating at the same time. So the goaltender, as you know, like they're not sure when he's going to release it. And when has he ever scored like really on a many times not on a slap shot unless he's really close in on a one-timer. It's his quickness, his release around the post, and he'll just pick any corner. And he hit the post today, too. He should have had another one. He had an empty net. He hit a post, which is rare for him to miss, but he could have had a couple. And for a player like that, to get 2 and then maybe 3 in another game, it doesn't take long. 3-4 games, he'll have.
Pascal, I want to know about Pascal. What do you see? Like, why is his shot so deceptive? Yeah,
to me, it's just the way. Like Sergio, you got a good point. He always shoots in movement. That's harder. When it's easier for a goalie when the guy stops skating, because it's easier to read. Like he doesn't. I think half the options are kind of gone because you kind of position yourself like towards and cut the angle a bit more. It's just the way that he changed the angle at the last second. I think, to me, that's what makes a big difference. And he doesn't need to change it a lot. To like yesterday's goal on Nedeljkovic. Like Nedeljkovic is kind of like challenging him well, but he just changed it. You see it like sometimes you barely see it, and it's just sometimes a matter of a couple inches, and that's enough in an NHL game for elite players, elite snipers like him. And today's the same thing. Like, and the release, like it leaves the blade really, really early. So that's the element of surprise.
Yeah.
So you have to deal with it. So for a guy like that, you kind of have to over-challenge it. But the problem is when he's skating with the puck, then he can go around you. So those two things make it difficult for goalies.
Did it change anything for goaltenders? Like you've been through it, like when they changed the sticks and the flex and all this. Like I feel like there's an era where their shots weren't coming up as fast.
I don't think I lived through it enough, to be honest. And when I played, I retired in 2011.
Okay.
Like the shots were coming, but they were more slap shots back then. They were more like straight lines. Like the guys weren't that skilled. No, I don't. I want to say it the right way.
Okay.
No.
Now he's coming back after
Stay
that.
back.
Hey,
Stay back.
Sergio,
Stay back.
don't
Sergio.
take that shit.
Yeah.
No. But you know what I mean. Like
But
you
we
could, like,
were
just-
allowed to run goaltenders in our day.
Yeah,
Just to let you know that,
that's
Pascal.
perfect.
Yeah, you
Coming
would-
across.
perfect.
No.
But you know what I mean? Like the shooters got so much better, and obviously the sticks help quite a bit. But it seems guys like maybe found new ways to beat goalies. They figure it out, and I think like back then, it's just there was a bit less space too. I mean, the league was bigger. Maybe these guys had like less time to take these shots. It was less on speed, so maybe a bit less opportunity.
I used
But,
everything. Like I started my career with a full wood, and then we had the blade with the shaft.
The Christian and
Yeah,
the Easton.
the Easton.
Yeah.
And then the first bush stick, heavy one piece, and then to what we have sort of today. And I do have a confession to make because I did ask one time after a Washington game. I asked for
Not a signed autograph stick from somebody.
from Ovechkin, and I
Okay.
asked for a stick because it's for charity. But it was to try it out in practice. The
Hey,
next
but
day.
hey.
I still have it today.
Okay, I thought you sold it or
No,
something.
I didn't sell it.
Hey, Max got a story about that.
Yeah.
Tell the story about the Ovechkin stick.
It's honestly
It's funny.
It's unreal because I tried his curve and his stick and the same flex, and you remember the rink at Bonaventure?
Yes.
I used to run every single day, and I had a friend, Mike. Hey, Mike, used to come on the ice and just pass it. He was passing me the puck. I was taking one-timers and shots, and I'm like, wow, like it's really the stick. It has nothing to do with Ovi. Like I'm gonna do it as well. I'm gonna use it this year. And first practice, obviously, can take a face-off. Can receive a pass on my backhand, can make a move with the puck, can do anything except shooting, right? So right away came back to my, I don't even know, pizza pan. I don't even know. I don't even know how to call my stick. But wow, it was tough to play. It wasn't tough to shoot, but he's really, really talented.
But that release, like it takes off. I remember taking it in practice. Oh, okay. I thought the same thing. But as a D, when the one-timer goes from low to high, it really whips. But Ovechkin takes it on an angle, which is different.
Well, I don't know how you can play like the rest of the game, like with that curve.
It's
Yeah,
hard.
it's that
I didn't have a
heel
backhand
curve,
either.
right?
I didn't have the backhand either. Like
they're
it would
very
go up.
skilled. And you're talking about
Yeah.
Ovechkin. Ovi's is really good at like using the D as a decoy, and when like he changes the angle at the last second, and that's what Caulfield does really well. You kind of lose it sometime, like even it's through like a leg or a blade, and that's when it kind of surprises you. And sometimes the goalies don't have time to adjust on that, like that small adjustment. So that's why too, that's a big strength for Cole Caulfield, I find. And it's just the release. Some guys just sometimes you can't explain it. The guys just are better shooters than other guys.
Talking about a good shot, like let's spend more time on Bolduc. You know, like he had a great end of the season last year in St. Louis. The kid can score some goals, but this year fits like it's not a fit for him right
He
now.
started off well.
He started off on fire on the road,
Awesome.
right? He was skating,
right, that's
scoring
right.
goals. Then he played on the first line, on the second line, on the third line, on the fourth line. Healthy scratch tonight. Like, what's the plan with him? Like, he's a young player, and I feel like right now we're giving a lot of chances to the players that are young and they're going to be there for a long time. Where does he fit in? Like, 'cause he's been hitting a little bit the last few games, but seems like he just can't score a goal.
I think if you're not scoring, you got to be doing other things, right? And we always got that. At least I did. You get those conversations with the coaches when your things are going well for you. Sometimes it's, I wouldn't say easy, but it's just everything happens, right? And then when you struggle, it's like, wow, I took the same shot, last week, and I'd scored in the corner, and now I'm hitting the pads or I'm missing the net. But you still got to hit. You still got to work hard. You still got to back check. You still got to do those other things, and then eventually goals will come. And it's frustrating if you're, I don't know, whatever. If you're just scoring 20 goals or 25 goals, that you still want to do at least that or more. But I'll never forget. And going back to Larry and Bob, and they say you don't have to play great every game, but you got to be good. You got to be consistent, or if you want to stay in the NHL for a long time, because we all saw so many guys come and go.
Yeah,
and it's true. You don't have to be unbelievable, but you still got to be good. You're going to have your bad games, but in general, whatever your identity is, it's got to be there most of the time. And so for him. Like, I'll be honest, I haven't watched full games all the time.
Yeah.
I'm doing other things, but, I'll be watching more games now here down the stretch, of course. And, we need guys like that, the guys that are big along the boards and that could get involved and get physical, and not to say not to play fight-wise, but also to give room to other guys to score. So I'm hoping that when he gets back, I guess the coach is going to have to make some more decisions for the next game.
Yeah.
When you're losing, you're always trying to find something there.
Who are you taking out then, D, right now?
Kirby Dach. He's already out,
you're
right?
right.
That's
Yeah.
the easy answer.
Yep.
It's like sometimes there's injuries, like, oh, thank God. Like Martin St. Louis, like, it's unfortunate that he got hurt because he's a bigger guy, a skilled guy, but he's like, okay, at least an easy decision this time. And but it's a numbers game in the bottom six. I mean, when they picked up Philippe Dandenault, it just created this thing because Dandenault and then Evans are kind of like the same player. They're the shutdown guy, but at least you had with the injuries that they had, they picked them up, and now it's just like who do you
Newhook
take
was
out?
hurt, so now they got a left-handed for the face-off, and then they got a righty for the face-offs with Evans. So obviously,
and that line had struggled again. I think they were -3 against San Jose, the Dandenault line. So it was just, and then it was the Gallagher thing where Martin said he's for sure playing the next game. So it creates that pressure on the guys. But right now, if Kirby Dach is hurt, even if he's just okay, I think they'll say, you know what, take your time. The playoffs are coming around the corner, and they'll just bring whoever was out the next game.
Right now, the standings. Montreal's at 82, Boston is at 80, Detroit is at 80, Columbus at 79, Ottawa's at 77. So there's a tight race, and you got Pittsburgh and Islanders who are at 81. So it's basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams fighting for 2 spots. You look at the Canadiens right now. They had a tough trip in California. They came back. They played better. They just played, I don't want to say poorly, but they didn't play up to the standards against the Californian team again tonight and last night. You look at the lines, we're talking about the injuries. Is it time to have some duos and try to spread it on the first 3 lines? I feel like right now we got Slav, Suzuki, Caulfield. Is it time to maybe try something else, like get Bolduc going or somebody else and put Slav on another line and keep Demidov and Newhook? Like, try something new. Like, I feel like we've been talking about scoring goals, but if you got a Slav on another line, maybe they play better in their own zone, right?
Well, if you look at the last trip, I think what they lose against Anaheim, was it 6-5?
Yeah.
And then in San Jose, that was a big score.
7-5.
I mean, Max, it's the goals against that are killing them. They're scoring enough goals, and I just we got to replace Doc if he's hurt. Obviously, you got to put other players in, but as a team, they got to commit to help as much as they can to keep the puck out of the net and then still score goals. I mean, or else it's.
But is it part of the plan, Sergio? Like, I feel like they want to score 10 instead.
Yeah, but Max, still, when you look like in the league,
part of the plan, it's nice to win 6-5, but look at Edmonton. I mean, they're going to score, but man, they give up a ton of goals. I mean, they got incredible skill, as we know, but and this team has the skill up front. But they still got to defend as a team.
I agree with
and
you,
I know what
Sergio.
you mean. I know what you mean, but or else it's, they're going to be looking outside and at the end of it if they don't all pull together here.
Yeah, because they're third in the league for goal scoring.
Yeah.
So you don't need to create more offense. I think they're doing enough offensively.
100%.
Yep.
So to me,
But
that's
I don't see how they're gonna defend better.
To answer your question, I mean,
I know what you mean. Yeah,
they
you got
create
this.
a lot, and the good news for me is the big guys are producing too.
Yes.
They're not missing in action. Like Suzuki, Caulfield, they're steady. Like Slav was good today. Like he was a one-man
That goal,
breakout.
that pass was amazing.
You know who was scoring goals?
Ooh.
Teemu Selanne, who is presented by Molson tonight for sure. The official beer of the Montreal Canadiens, proud partner and fan. Everyone in. Can't wait. Teemu Selanne. He knows how to score goals. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up, boys?
You guys all know each other, right? Sergio Momesso, Mathieu Dandenault, Pascal Leclaire. You probably scored a few.
Yeah, you scored a lot of goals on me, Teemu.
I wasn't allowed to play against him. I was like, get back on the bench.
Teemu, how's life, my friend?
Life is great, It's living in California, and I keep myself pretty busy, so it's all good. No complaints.
All good.
Do
Living.
you play pickleball in California? Or do you get the addiction as well, or?
Yes, I play twice a week tennis, twice a week pickleball, and twice a week golf. So that's good balance. Good balance.
It's
What a
okay.
life. Good for you.
So what did you do the other day? You got one day off. What do you do?
I go to my restaurant, drink.
That's right. You have a
eat.
restaurant. That's right. I heard about that.
That's so nice. Teemu, we've been talking about it. The Anaheim Ducks are back on the top of the standings in the NHL. They're a good team, good young team. You've been through it. You've built basically the hockey market in Anaheim. How does it feel to see so much skills this year and to see that the team is back on the Stanley Cup track at one point?
Yeah, it's a very exciting team to watch. Like you said, it's a very young, a lot of speed, skill, talent, and the whole Anaheim is very excited about this team. And obviously they're a little stupid here and there, but they when they learn as a team, they're gonna be a long time very good. And Anaheim, Lappy, it's a tough market, and you have to have a good team to bring the people in the stands. And even this year when they have lost, they still play very exciting and fun to watch hockey. So it has been fun to watch.
Is there? Are you still involved with the team at all? Obviously you. With what you've done with the team, and now they have the young guys coming in, really high skill, talented player like you once were. Are you still and if you do the young guys pick your brains out a bit, or not at all? You're kind of just staying away.
I try to stay away. I go say hi to them, but I'm not involved that much. Sometimes the Patrick Beek or the coaches are asking some advices, but officially, I'm not part of the organization. I do a lot of charity work for them and some alumni stuff. But I'm happy, when I played so long time and with somebody else's schedule, I have been very kind of selfish with my time, and I'm able to do things what I was not able to do before. So, but I watch every game. I try to stay involved and go to the games. This year I have been maybe 12 games. So. And, maybe I've been waiting that moment that if I get a little itchy to start doing more and more, but so far it's not there.
You just have one day a week where you can work.
You don't have time anyway.
Play 9 holes one day, and then go check them out. I'm going to say one thing to you.
Monday is our course is closed. So.
That's right. In the States, Monday the courses are closed. I remember that in St. Louis.
What do you got for him?
Well, I used to play a lot against you in the old Winnipeg Arena. When you were flying, scoring those 76 goals. You remember the Vancouver Canucks and the Jets games? They were pretty intense, don't you think?
Always.
We had some series against each other. That's right.
Yeah, and you guys had a great team, and usually we lost quite many times, more than we won. So, but it was always special to play against you guys, and you knew that you have to be ready to win if you want to win, and if you don't, you're gonna lose. But the good old days, Winnipeg Arena was also a great place to play. What a great fans! I really
were
miss
great
those.
fans. Yes, I remember that.
The Queen was there, right?
Well, this is the story I wanted to say. I'm
I'm
standing ready for the national anthem, and I'm standing. God rest his soul. God bless him. Gino Ojic, as you remember, Gino
Yeah.
was our tough guy and one of them. And the anthem is going on, and you never played there, Max, right?
No,
So
no.
this is
I played the American League one.
I was born
so
20
that-
years
that
after
ring-
Sergio.
There's a big portrait there.
Yes.
There's a big portrait there.
there.
And Gino Ojic turns to me and says, "How come there's a picture of the mayor up on the wall?" And I looked at him. I go, "Chief," I go, "That's not the mayor. That's the Queen of England, man." And I just. I love the guy. I got, I couldn't stop. Like I needed to laugh, but I was just during the anthem, and I'll never forget the first time the Chief said that to me. But that was pretty funny. But that was one of the best atmospheres
Winnipeg
with
for
those
sure.
fans, and they still are.
The whiteouts. You guys had the whiteouts in the playoffs.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
that was crazy.
How was it to start in Canada, Teemu, for you as a player coming in? Like it's we also talk about the pressure. How was it? Well, felt like you didn't have that much pressure scoring that many goals.
The Finns didn't mind the cold.
Yeah.
I mean, I played with Jyrki Lumme, one of your compatriots there, and
But how was it in Canada for you the first year?
Yeah, you know what? I always say that I was so lucky and happy that I started in Winnipeg, where you realize how big of a deal hockey is there. And it doesn't matter if you're a baby or old person, the hockey is the only thing what they have there. And it was great to see how important the players and the game is for them. And, obviously I didn't expect that, what kind of year I'm going to have my first year, but sharing with all those fans and how they lived everything with me, it was just amazing, So I had 4.5 years there, and it's a very special place for me.
What the league is so young now, and you were a young guy coming from Europe. Montreal, we got the Demidov, and then there's a Zarovsky coming, and then obviously Anaheim, they had Carlson, and you were once one of that young guy coming from Europe. What were the biggest challenges, and was it like hard to adjust to the North American game, and what did you miss the most from back home? Like, cause it's quite like for us easy, like we kind of grew up and we get to see the NHL games. It's kind of closer to our, but for you guys, it's a bit more complicated, and it's further, it seems more far away. It has to be like quite the challenge for a young guy like crossing over to North America.
Oh, absolutely. There's so many things that you have to learn, and you never know how long it's going to take to get used to the different smaller ice rink, tougher game. The traveling is huge, especially at that time. We didn't have a charter flight, so we went to the commercials. And but you know what? I was so lucky. Teppo Numminen was there already. He was like a bigger brother for me. We have Alpo Suhonen, another Finnish guy who was an assistant coach for us. So, and my agent Don Basie was from Winnipeg. So, I got so much help right away from everybody, and I didn't have to worry about anything else and just play hockey. And but of course, I didn't know how long it takes to get used to everything new. So. But I didn't expect that kind of year right away. So, but what benefit also for me that I never watched I watched hockey, of course, in the TV, and I never read the papers or whatever media said, because I learned afterwards that how tough the media is there, and if you don't play well, they're gonna really give it to you. So I didn't have that pressure. I didn't understand that pressure because I was not really watching or listening what they were talking about me. So that was a good thing.
And you played a little bit. I think it's 22 games. It's not a lot, but you played with Randy Carlyle in Winnipeg, and then he was your coach in Anaheim. I was there at the same time in Anaheim. How weird is it to get coached by a guy you played with and to listen to him and to deal with the way he's dealing with you when he has meetings and all that? I feel like it's a weird vibe.
Especially probably when you were a better player than him.
It was a little bit in the first time. Randy was very tough for all the rookies. And we had rookies like Keith Tkachuk, Alexei Zhamnov. The whole first line was rookies, and I always remember when Randy said after the practice that you guys have to backskate. But John Paddock was our coach. We played 23, 24 minutes a game, so he never asked us to backskate. But Randy was making sure that we're gonna skate, and we said no, we're not gonna skate. So he got so mad for a couple of times, but yeah, you know what? It was actually a good thing when Randy came to the coach, you know, because he knew that what I can do, and I was just coming back from my big knee surgery, so he believed that I can still play and do well. So I'm very thankful for that. And obviously we won the cup together, so that worked out well. But of course it's a little different when your teammate comes to the coach, and there's good things and there's bad things. But for us it was great.
You're talking about coaching. I heard this story, and I want you to tell for the fans of hockey with an accent, the Bruce Boudreau story with Gretzky or something. Please tell us the story.
Yeah, actually, it's okay. So Bruce became our coach, and we are in Vancouver. And we went there night before, obviously. And in the morning practice, Bruce told everybody that he met Gretzky in the bar. What a great night. He has been my idol forever. And, you know, what a classy guy and everything. So whole morning practice, he was just talking about Gretzky. So on the way back to the hotel, I said, you know what, I'm going to text him like he doesn't know my number, but I have his number. So I'm going to text him as a Gretzky and said, Bruce, you know, it was great to meet you. You're a great guy. I admire you as a coach. And so I don't know what you're going to do tonight after the game, but I would love to go out, have a couple of beers with you and everything. so he picked up the phone, of course, anytime, you know, where are we going to meet? And so how about if you meet same place, you know, and how fast you can come, you know, after the game? Oh, I can come right away, anytime, you know. So then we go to the pre-game meal, and you know, I still text him that I'm very excited to meet you again, and then I go to take a nap, and I'm so nervous that I'm gonna tell him now. So then, you know, we are going to the game, and he's in the front of the bus, and so I text him again, hey, Bruce, do you want to meet before the game? So he said, yeah, sure, where? Turn around, I'm in the back in the bus.
Was he pissed off or?
No, he was not pissed off, but he was obviously very disappointed.
It's even worse.
He probably had his jersey and all that.
But he took that very well. So, but I felt so bad because he was so excited about it.
That's so good. But you know what? It's
That's
great
a great
to hear
story.
hear those stories from you, because you're like a huge superstar, but you always had a reputation to be really laid back. And I mean, when you're like even like young guys, whenever I remember the first time that we played against Anaheim, we're like, oh, we're playing Teemu Selanne. Like you hear the veterans with somebody who played against you for so many years. So it's like, oh, what a great guy. Never heard anything bad about you. Is that you all have the reputation to be really kind of take the game. Great teammate. And where does that come from? That you kind of not that you obviously you took it seriously to be a good like you were, but like you always approach the game that way, kind of just relax and see what happens.
Yeah, pretty much, you know, especially in the game days, you see so many different guys to get ready for different ways. And a lot of guys are very focused. They don't talk. I really, of course, in the morning, in the game day, I felt my body that it's going to be game day and stuff. But I didn't really think about that too much, you know. And even I was always the last guy who came to the rink at that night. You know, I tried to come like, if we have 7 o'clock game, I came 5:15. And we had a meeting 5:25 or 5:30. And I was still watching, like, I tried to start dressing up about 4 or 5 minutes before we go in the warm-up. And that was the first. That was the first
zipper
time.
on your gear. How do you guys do that? There's one every team that does that. Dress in 5 minutes.
It took only two minutes. I knew I can do 2 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 seconds. I can put my gear on.
Wow.
But that time, 4 or 5 minutes before, I have to rush a little bit. But that was the first time it was a game on, you know, and 30 minutes before I was still watching Baywatch on TV, so I was not really focusing too much, you know. But you know, I think that helped me a lot too. And same thing after the game, if I played well or bad, you know, when I came home, if you ask my wife, I don't think she would realize like what kind of game I was. I tried to left the game there, and the next morning, if it was tough night and we lost, I still tried to come to the rink with the big smile, and because I think it was just like we are so lucky that we play hockey for a living, and a lot of guys were always a little bit tired and mad when we lost the guys. And I try to remind the guys, it's just a hockey, like there's nothing what we can do about last night. Let's have fun. Let's work hard today, and we go from there. We don't have time to start feeling sorry for ourselves. So I think that has always been my strength, that I didn't really start, think about bad things too much. I just kept moving,
What did you watch before the pregame nap on the road?
I think it was Days of Our Lives in our day.
Days of Our Lives too.
Yeah,
the soap
operas. You guys are too young.
Yeah,
I think I like Baywatch better.
Yeah.
That's why he's
No. Days of Our Lives. There was a good looking. We actually went on set one time. It was great. Yeah.
That's why he's in Anaheim. Baywatch.
Yeah.
He loves the beach.
Me and Alexei Jamno were watching in Winnipeg. We're watching Jerry Springer.
All the focus for the big games.
Yeah.
But you know what? You playing in Anaheim, you must have encountered a lot of celebrities and like famous people. Being a star, obviously, as a hockey player, any funny stories from the out of the rink, or any encounters that you met some celebrities that you were just like, wow, like I can't believe I'm at the same restaurant or just talking with this person?
So we used to party in Newport Beach with Shaquille O'Neal. He was a great guy, huge guy. A couple of times he grabbed me and lifted me, and I felt like a baby, So, but when Disney was when he owned the team, after every game, Michael Eisner, he brought some big stars in the locker room, and then we met a lot of actors and that kind of stuff. But Anaheim and California, it's so big that you don't see too many stars all the time, and that's why I really enjoy here, because living here, people, they recognize you here and there, but you can normally just be a normal human being, and you don't have to worry about that you get recognized too often. Like in Finland or Canada, it's obviously a big difference. So I really kind of like it.
That's unreal. When Shaq cracks your back, that's pretty. You made it to the top.
You feel good.
He's huge.
Were you
unbelievable? But so funny and happy guy always.
Yeah, for sure.
You had a great relationship with Paul Carrier. You guys had great success, but I read it at a couple places. You guys were so different because Paul had a reputation to be a very serious guy. How does we have it in Montreal a bit with Caulfield, always a smile on his face. The captain Suzuki, a bit of a more serious guy, but it just works. There's great how do you say it?
Chemistry.
Great chemistry between the two guys. You had a great chemistry with Paul Carrier. How does it happen when two totally different personalities click together that much in the hockey rink? Is that from off the ice? Were you guys close off the ice, on the ice, or just a matter you just click when you have to make plays?
Yeah, right when I got traded here to Anaheim, me and Paul, we are roommates, and we learned a lot from each other. He was very a focus, and I remember when we went to the hotel, he was running to the hotel so he doesn't have to sign autographs or meet fans. And right when we get into the room, he left, and I said, where are you? And he said, I went to check out all the exits, how you can sneak out without seeing anybody. I'm like, who cares? Come on. So I always joke about that. My salary for hockey was half was playing hockey and half that I try to make Paul as a normal person.
Psychologist.
Yeah, but on the ice, we're really, every drill we did together, and we're talking about how we want to play different situations, and I think that kind of chemistry, what you find with somebody like Paul, it's very unique, and we both are very fast, and we try to make a lot of set plays, and the hockey felt very easy because I think we were almost a step ahead, everybody else when he knew where I was and I knew where he was, and it was just a great time, and we were thinking about hockey same way, and Paul is a very funny guy, and but if you don't know him, he can be very like shy, not shy, but very quiet, and he doesn't want any part of you. So, but he's very happy. You know, I was worried about like what he's gonna do when he's done, because you know everything was only hockey. But he lives in actually close to my restaurant, and he serves every day, and he seems to be very happy. So that's a great news, you know.
Can you talk to us a little bit? We're in Montreal. People are excited. Like, let's hear about Saku Koivu, your relation with him, like the impact he had on our market, and such a great hockey player, but also a great guy.
Great guy, you know, and I have a long history with Saku. I played with the national teams first, and then we were always talking about that it would be nice to play in the same club team as well. And then we had a chance to play, I think, 3 or 4 years with Saku in Anaheim, you know, and what a great guy, great leader, you know, and on the ice and off the ice, and very gentleman guy. So, and again, with him, you know, it was same kind of chemistry, you know, we really try to make a big effort that we can, after every shift, you know, we try to give each other some feedback, and if he didn't see me or I didn't see, or what do you think about this and that, you know. And I think that's the one reason why it always worked, because if you don't tell that when you were open and that kind of stuff, I don't think you can get better. So, and we watch videos and talk about, so we try to take that the chemistry in another level. And what a great guy, you know. It's and of course, like the battle with the cancer and everything, I think that changed Saku a lot too. I think he learned that there's more than hockey, you know, and what a great memories with him, and good old days.
Was there any point in your career where you were close to sign in Montreal to play with Saku?
You know what? Actually, it was I think it was late 90s. Maybe 2000, you know, obviously we had the same agent as well, Don Basley, and, you know, we were talking about that would be one option. But, you know, I was kind of like, I was always thinking about that, you know, if I'm somewhere that I'm very happy and I'm playing well, I didn't want to take any, you know, risk to go anywhere else, you know. So that's why it never happened before until Saku came to Anaheim. But we were talking about that, and like I said, we played 5 Olympics together, or 4 Olympics together, and multiple World Championships and World Cups, and we always played so well that it's always nice that when you realize that you have a partner who can make you better, you know, and vice versa. So it's a good feeling.
Well, why didn't it work, Teemu? Imagine the Montreal market with you as a goal scorer on Saku's line. What happened?
I think I got very comfortable with 80 degrees.
See?
No, that's why.
Even when it's bad, it's not that bad. All the guys, when they play in the nice weather, I get it.
I know. They say, how can you, if you get traded to California, how can you play there? I said, don't worry, you can play there.
It's
not a problem.
unbelievable there. I want to go back just because I'm sure a lot of people are thinking about it. Like, I want to bring you back to Winnipeg when you broke that record for most goal for a rookie. Like, I was growing up, I think I was 10 or 11 years old when you did that, and everybody saw when you threw the your glove in the air. Like, how did you think about that? Like, it's like, it was so cool. You were the coolest man on earth when you did that. Everybody was doing it. How did you get it from somebody, or you just kind of just went for it? You just felt it at the moment?
You know, I was probably like 10 years old when I saw one Finnish guy did that in Finnish league, and I said, you know, someday I want to do that. And I did that once before. I did when I scored the game winner in the Finnish league championship. But you know, that time when it happened, I was not planning to do that. You know, I was just so pumped. You know, I always remember that we had 2 more games at home, and then we went to the road like 5 or 6 games, and all the fans and the media were talking about that record is going to be probably broken on the road because I need 7 goals in 2 games, and nobody believed I can do it. So then we played against Minnesota, and I scored 4 goals, and then they said, well, 3 more. I don't know if that's going to happen, you know. So then third period when I scored the hat trick and that goal, you know, I was so pumped, and And I don't know where that came from. I just threw the club on the air and I shut it down. And now when I look back, I'm like, what the hell I was doing? It's kind of a little bit embarrassing, but at the time I was so pumped and excited that I was not thinking what I was doing.
That's unbelievable, scoring that many goals.
Yeah, I think I throw my.
It's just
everything
casual. I scored 4 that night, and I scored 3 the other night.
I can tell you something. If I scored that many goals, my celly would have been a little crazier. For sure. Last question for you. A subject in Montreal here about our team. We're talking about team toughness, big D's, tough to play against. You've been in a good, big, strong team in Anaheim. What is the impact as a skilled player of playing with people not that are protecting you, but are making it really tough to play against for the other team?
Yeah, you know what? Obviously, you know, like when I was playing guys like Chris Pronger and you know, they like you're a little bit more aware when you play against tough guys and the guys who plays very hard, like Scott Stevens and those guys. So for sure, you have to be smarter and you have to know all the time where they're going to be. And I think for the team, when you have a toughness and that the guys in the back who plays hard and very physical, you know, it's a good feeling, you know. I always remember when we won the Stanley Cup, you know, we were not only like a skill team, but we were very tough. And I think we took most penalties in the league. But we also had the best penalty killing, so that even up. But I always said that we don't have to really win always this way, you know. But you know, I think the toughness, I think it's a little bit underrated today's hockey. You know, like when I came to the league, and you guys remember, it was like there was a fear factor every game. You know, it was so violent and it was so physical, and sometimes like even brutal, like violent. That you know. You gotta be ready. You gotta, and then when I see today's hockey players that they keep their heads down and they play reckless, that they don't expect they're gonna get hit, you know, it really scares me, you know. So the hockey is obviously it's a different style right now. A lot of speed and a lot of skill, but you know the toughness is. You see less and less that kind of toughness. So, but if you find those guys who can bring that for your team, they're so valuable today.
For sure.
I remember like back in the day also, like you go into Chicago and you're up like maybe 2-1, 3-1. And then somebody scores the fourth goal, and you're like, "Oh no!" And next thing you know, Probert, Vanderbush, Ciccone, they all jump on the ice. Like it was fearful in those days. Like it was scary. And Nick Lidstrom would untie his skates. He's done for the night. And go ahead, Daddy. And then you're like, but there was a fear factor way back then. That for sure, absolutely. There was a lot of intimidation for sure.
There's definitely intimidation.
And all the hooking and grabbing and interfering, you know, that was totally different game, you know. Mm-hmm. And I always say that that time men was men.
My dad told me, he didn't speak very good English. My dad came from Italy, and he said, Sergio, don't fight that the Probert guy. And I said, don't worry, I know. I'll try to keep away from him.
Don't fight the Probert guy.
Yeah. And I was like, please, Bob, don't hit the goalie, because if he hits the goalie, I got to jump in.
That's unreal. Hey,
but you know, like I remember those days, you know, like I had so much respect for all the tough guys, you know, like I played with so many great guys like Ty Domi and all those guys that what you guys do for the teams and protect the players and make sure we can do our job. You know, it was just beautiful to see. It was a tough job, and we knew that. And I always remember like when there's a game against somebody, and you know our tough guys were fighting their tough guys, and then you go to the bar afterwards and they having beers together. Yeah. So that's a respect, you know.
That's hockey right there.
Yeah.
Teemu, I just want to say a big thank you from the guys, from the fans in Quebec. I think it's awesome that you take time for us. You don't have to, obviously, with the busy life, pickleball, golf, beach, working on your tab. Yeah. We really appreciate it. I think that explains a lot about how great of a teammate you are. I think I played with you for 3 months and you still answer the call. So really appreciate it, bud.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Anytime, guys.
Yeah, nice to talk to you.
Thank you so much. Have a good one. Keep enjoying life. This interview was presented by Molson. Obviously, what a great guy.
Absolutely.
That's the first thing I've noticed when I arrive in Anaheim is like, wow, Teemu Selanne. I was going to say Mr. Selanne, but then you realize one of the boys, just always there for his teammates, just a smiley person, right?
Yeah, but he has a presence, you know. Like you
true.
can tell he's a very smart guy.
Yeah.
Speaks well, and
He looks like a rock star.
Yeah.
Like,
He is a rock star. He is a rock
it's
star.
good that you got him on a Sunday. This was his day off.
we got the day off.
Actually, I want to know. We got to go to his restaurant.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, let's go to California.
I remember one time, maybe the one time I got streaky, and I remember scoring. I had like 6 points in 4 games, and back then there was just the start of the week, and I was like, oh, and I'm like. I had a good week, right?
have a
Obviously, I was
chance.
and next thing you know, the next morning, Selanne scores 3. He's the first star of the week. And then honorable mention, Dandenault with the
you got a mention.
I did get a mention, but I was like, it would have been the only time in my career. And Teemu crushed my dream.
But it's great to see a guy like that. For everybody, there's obviously there's so much pressure in hockey, and like a lot of guys are very serious, and and to see a personality like that has success, and like it was so good, like all he did is just the way that he enjoyed the game. Like sometimes I think even for younger players that see that, there's not only like you have to enjoy it. It's a game, and I think it shows that when he mentions it, when guys like that says there's good time, hard times, like, and then we have like the right mentality about it. It's I think it's refreshing, and obviously it's it's great. It's great to have him.
Great guest. Gio was great too.
Yeah, great guys.
Awesome.
Guys, it's time for the break of the week presented by Rémi Trader. This week's winner, you've been on the chat. It's Josh Tamir 759. You're gonna win the cards that I'm about to open. You can contact Info La Poche Bleue, obviously, for infos, or we're gonna communicate and win. You're gonna win the cards, but let's go open the box. I think there's a lot of value in this one. All right, here we go, guys. You've been waiting for it. I know you love it. It's time to open up the box. Tonight is a 2025-2026 Upper Deck Black Diamond box. You guys, I know if you're a big fan, those are unbelievable. And by the way, if you enjoy cards, if you enjoy collectibles, don't forget to visit RémiCardTrader.ca, or you can follow them online to watch live box openings. They're doing a great job. Tonight, in this beautiful box, I think what we're looking for is 6 cards. There's going to be 6 cards, and the hits can be huge. As you know, it's either an autograph or diamond relic rookie, a number exquisite collection card, and several premium insert or memorabilia cards. That's a tough word, obviously. That's why it's called hockey with an accent. Rookies to watch 2025-26 include Ivan Demidov, that would be an unbelievable hit tonight. Michael Misa, Matthew Schaefer, Ryan Leonard, and Zane Parek. That would be really nice. So let's do it. Let's open the box tonight, boys and girls. Hopefully we get something special. A good hit. It's always good. For you guys deserve it. And obviously our big winner is going to be happy if we get something good. I always try to be careful. Here we go. I'm gonna hide the box a little bit just to make sure at the beginning. If we get a Demidov tonight, it would be a heck of a night, let me tell you that. All right, I'm gonna put the top card to make sure we don't see anything. And here we go. Always important to hide the top one. Should I go under? Yeah, I'm gonna start with the card under. I see a patch that should be good. Oh, pretty nice. Adam Fox. Adam Fox, nice card. Obviously with a piece of jersey inside. If we can see it a little bit on top. I'll put it right here while I open the next one. Adam Fox is one of my favorite defensemen. I just think he's in the wrong team. I'll take the top one right now. Looks like a nice one as well. Oh, really good player in Columbus, Kirill Marchenko. Nice card as well. So, Adam, you're going to go in the corner for a minute. And there we go. Nice card. What can we get now? We need a Demidov, guys. I thought it was a Habs jersey. It is a signed card. Oh, wow. Super nice. Good kid. Good. That's a good hit, guys. Piece of jersey. Signed. Ryan Leonard. Great player. Plays hard. Plays the right way. One of the good young players in the NHL. So that's a good hit, I think. Here we go. Next card. Wow. That's a nice one. Oh, former Canadians. You guys loved him in Montreal. Arturi Lekanen. Piece of jersey from Four Nations. That's a pretty cool card. Pretty nice. What a change in his career since he's arrived in Colorado. Who thought? Huh? This guy was a fourth liner here, and he's scoring goals often in Colorado. Two more cards. Matthew Wood. Matthew Wood, Nashville Predators. Nice card as well. And to finish, the last card tonight. What do we got? What do we got? Oh, Patrick Laine. Wow. With a piece of jersey. Pretty nice, Patrick. Too bad he's not playing this year, but hey, I mean, he's a goal scorer, had a good career. Hopefully he will find a new role in whatever with the Habs or a new organization, but looks tough to get in the lineup in Montreal for him right now. So don't forget, guys, you can follow RemyCardTrader.ca. You can look online as well. They always have those unboxing or the breaks, like they call them. You can watch them on their social media. And congrats to the winner. I think you got a pretty good lineup here. Good work. And thanks to our friend from Remy Card Trader, guys. Yep. Closing the show right now. So start with Sergio. What do you want to see from the Habs in the next week?
Well, I think if you look at the scores, I think with 3 goals at these tight games, their goal is to give up 2 goals a game. And to me, if they score 3, they should win, and just collectively for 60 minutes play better as a team to give up 2 goals or less. I think that would get them 4 points.
Absolutely. I think I want to see the engagement defensively as a 5-man unit to really come back, and then from the defensive side to jump up offensively. And a huge week playing Boston and Detroit, which breaks my heart, the Red Wings. But it's like it's those 2 teams that are in the walkout position, so they need to win. Yeah,
and with the Islanders too, the game after that. So I agree with you guys. I think we're all gonna agree. Like defensively, we got to be tougher in front of our net. We're getting saves right now too, like with Dobesh and Fowler. Those guys are making enough saves, so obviously we're gonna score some goals. We just got to defend and commit to it. Just commit to it and play the score.
Personally, I won't accept statu quo. Like I want Marty St. Louis to arrive with a new solution. You know, if it doesn't work and you don't have the staff to play that tough game, then we've talked with Brian Gionta about layers. Well, is it too late during the season to decide that we need layers and we need to protect the players that are either falling on the ice or committing a mistake, or like let's say Lane Hutson, it's rare that he makes a mistake. Yeah. He makes one rarely, and tonight it's right in the back of the net at the worst time possible. If you had a D in front of the net, that doesn't happen. Yeah.
Eventually, they all come to the net. So if you're there, eventually everybody's got to come to the net. So if you're already there in layers, it's a better sign for the Canadiens.
Just wait there. Thank you, fans, for watching the show tonight. Hockey with an accent, obviously, since we started it. It's pretty simple. The message is from the players for the fans, and we had another great show tonight. We'll see you on Tuesday night after the games against the Boston Bruins, and obviously we're gonna have some special guests for you. See you soon. Hockey with an Accent was presented by Molson.